Hello everyone, it's me, DELONGPRE, and welcome back to another video. For today, we are going to do some music rankings, and we are going to be ranking Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. You're just my eternal sunshine. So this album released back in early March, with the first single being Yes and releasing back in January. I've been sitting on these songs for the past couple of weeks now. At the time of filming this, it's like March 20th, so it has had a couple of weeks to kind of marinate with me, and so I can give like a proper ranking of all these songs, and we're gonna get right into it. So we're gonna start with, there's 13 tracks on the album. Of course, there's the slightly deluxe version, but we will not be ranking that one just because it's pretty much the same songs, just with folks on it or with an acoustic version, which I'm not really gonna count because it's the same songs, just with more stuff added on. And if she wanted that intentionally, she would have just put it on the regular standard album. So a special shout out and honorable mention to Supernatural featuring Troye Sivan. I feel like that version of Supernatural genuinely is better than the Supernatural that we have on the regular standard album. So special shout out to that one, but it's not going to be in the ranking. There are 13 tracks on Eternal Sunshine, one of them being an interlude, which I'm going to be putting at number 13 because it's an interlude. You know, it's not even Ariana Grande singing. It is a astrologist basically talking about the Saturn cycle, which is really cute and it fits the album, but you know, it's an interlude. So why would I put it any higher than 13? So, number 12, we're getting into the actual songs now. It is going to be True Story. This song, to me, genuinely is the only song I have an issue with on the album. It is the only song for me that I just don't prefer on the album. It's not that it's produced badly, it's just this weird, it has this really weird funky beat I can't get over, and this really weird, you know, loop track that it has going on. So for me, it's also just a little too like literal, if that makes sense. It's her, of course, being upset about the relationship and what has happened, but it's also like her taking an actual literal like angry approach to it, which I don't necessarily prefer on this album. I love the fact that most of the songs in this album are alluding to what happened versus this song, which is more like, hey, this happened. You know, it's a skip. This is the only song in the album that is genuinely a skip for me. So number 12, True Story. Number 11 is going to be I Don't Want to Break Up Again. I Don't Want to Break Up Again is genuinely a decent song. I do think it is really nice to be right after Bye, which is track 2. I think there's a common theme that you guys are going to see throughout this video, that I feel like there's a lot of songs that kind of pair together, and I feel like Bye and I Don't Want to Break Up Again are a really good little duo together. But I do think that it is one of those songs that can kind of just be a filler song, in the sense of like,
in the sense that
it does progress the story, but it doesn't progress the story as much as Bye does, as much as We Can't Be Friends does, as much as like, you know, Imperfect for You does. So I think that it is a good song. It's just for me a little bit of a filler song. So like, as True Story is in D tier, I have now I Don't Want to Break Up Again in C tier. Okay, so number 10, also in C tier with I Don't Want to Break Up Again, is Supernatural. So Supernatural, by all means, again, it's a very decent song, and I do listen to it while listening to the album. I do think it's cute. I think it is a nice, again, continuation of the story that Ariana is trying to tell. And I think this song does come right after Don't Want to Break Up Again. No, Saturn Interlude. The interlude comes after Don't Want to Break Up Again. But I do think that this song, Supernatural, it's decent. I do think, like I said earlier, I do prefer the Troye Sivan remix over the actual Supernatural, you know, solo track, just because I feel like the Supernatural remix adds a little bit more depth. And I do think having Troye Sivan on the track is really lovely. I think that his sound matches really nicely with Ariana Grande's sound. So hearing that one and then hearing this one, it did kind of dim down the solo track a little bit in my eyes, okay? Next up at number 9 is going to be Intro, End of the World. So Intro, End of the World, it's just that. It's an intro. It's introducing us to pretty much what the album's going to be, which is Ariana Grande's hurt, anger, sadness, resentment, and acceptance. And it's basically, this entire album really is just her going through the stages of a breakup. And I respect it a lot. I do like the intro. It's just so short. Then this is like my overall complaint about the whole album in general, is that the album itself is so short. Almost every song is at 2.5 minutes. The songs that are longer, I typically like more. You know what I mean? We're gonna see this throughout the whole list. The songs that are longer are quite higher on the list because I feel like she was able to tell the story even more. And I love when there's a key change. I love when there's a tone change in the middle of a song. Perfect examples of this is We Can't Be Friends. Perfect examples of this is I Wish I Hated You. There's a lot of key changes and a lot of tone changes that you can make in a longer version of a song. And a lot of these songs, because they are so short, they kind of stay in the same tempo and the same theme throughout the whole track. And that's not to say that any of them are super, super bad, but I will say it's a little bit of a hindrance. So number 8, we have a big tone shift from Intro, End of the World, is Bye. So Bye is truly the first track that we hear on the album full length. And it is a really fun, funky, poppy R&B song, and I personally really enjoy it. I love the fact that Ariana dipped into the R&B realm, and she's kind of done this crossbreed of pop and R&B. We saw this a lot with Sweetener, we saw this a lot with Positions, and we saw this a lot with Thank You Next. I do enjoy poppy R&B Ariana over hyper pop Ariana, i.e. Into You, Break Free, Greedy, etc. And thus we enter B tier. Number 7, Ordinary Thing. I love a good outro song. Your intro can make or break your album, and your outro can make or break your album. You should have a full circle moment coming back to the end point of your album. And I think some albums in the past have done a great job doing that, right? Beyonce's Renaissance, I'm That Girl is the beginning, and Summer Renaissance being the end. Reputation by Taylor Swift, Ready for It, like fully blindsiding us and us ending on like this solemn, cutesy sad note with New Year's Day. Ariana herself starting with Shut Up for Positions and then ending with POV. Like it's those type of tracks that really, they warn you about what's to come and they leave you with a bow and give you a lollipop and tell you everything's gonna be okay after completely destroying you with an album. I will say, is Ordinary Thing her strongest outro ever? No, I think easily POV beats it from her most previous album. I think it is a really solid track. I think it's really sweet that she ended on a track that features her Nona. And I think that it is one of those tracks that give you that resolution, right? We go through all the anger and the heartbreak and the depression and the resentment, and then we finally hit acceptance with Ordinary Thing and Imperfect For You, which for me are like one of the two twin songs that kind of like help one another finish out the story. So on that note, number 6, Imperfect For You. So Imperfect For You and Ordinary Thing really are in the same boat for me. They really help wrap up the album really nicely. I do enjoy Imperfect For You more than Ordinary Thing. I think that Imperfect For You, it's so much softer, and it's that song that you would see pretty much like a main character sitting across a lake looking at the water. It's like, it's that meme of like the girl who's going to be okay. That's what Imperfect For You is. It's the girl that's going to be okay. And I do think it's a really, really good song to be the second to last song to end the album. My only thing with, you know, Ordinary Thing that Imperfect For You kind of beats out is it tells a little bit more of the acceptance story than Ordinary Thing. Number 5. So I know you guys have probably been like, where the hell is this song? There's no way it's in the top 5. Yes, it is, baby. And let me tell you why. Yes and is number 5. So Yes and. I personally enjoy the track. It is like one of the songs we're hearing a lot right now because it is the main single off the album. I do think it is a complete, it's that song on the album that's a complete wild card, because you're like, why is this song the single off the album? But I will say that it is an enjoyable song. It's really catchy, it's really flowy. I'm happy that she wrote it herself. My only complaint, and the reason why it is so low, is that I am so tired of the obvious sample, right? I'm not gonna say any albums specifically because I do not want any fandoms coming after me. You know which fandom I'm talking about. You guys know exactly which fandom I'm talking about. But I am so tired of the obvious sample. I really am. I feel like over the past 2-3 years, the use of an obvious sample has gone a little overboard. And this song is no exception. The fact that it's a direct sampling of Vogue by Madonna, when we just saw Beyonce use Vogue by Madonna for Break My Soul and the Queen's remix, it's like, okay, can we find more samples that aren't the same songs over and over and over again? If you're gonna do a sample at this point, it needs to be incorporated into the music where it's not like I can instantly point out, okay, this is Madonna's Vogue. If I wanted to listen to Madonna's Vogue, I would go listen to Madonna's Vogue. So now we're going into the top 4. The top 4 songs on this album are genuinely the songs I reach for. It's not like I'm like, okay, let me go listen to Eternal Sunshine. These are the songs that I genuinely have in my playlists that I'm like, okay, yeah, you're gonna be on my sad playlist, you know what I mean? Or you're gonna be in my dance playlist, whatever it is. So number 4 is The Boy Is Mine. I love this track a lot. I love the fact that it is more R&B-y, and it's like, again, more poppy R&B-y track. I love the beat breakdown during like the start of the chorus, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like the beat like almost stops for a second as the chorus starts, and it's so cool. It's a song that you could hear at a club. It's a song that you could hear in the car. It's a song that you could be listening to while you're going through a breakup. Like I really do love this track, and I really hope it gets the love it deserves from Ariana and her team, and it gets like a music video, because I do enjoy that track a lot. Number 3 is going to be I Wish I Hated You. Number 3, I Wish I Hated You, goes hand in hand with the song that comes before it, which is We Can't Be Friends. I think that coming off such a heartbreaking song like We Can't Be Friends, hearing I Wish I Hated You kind of gives you that stopping point, that sense of, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. I'm the girl that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. Like, it gives you that. It gives you very much like, you just broke your own heart listening to We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. And I Wish I Hated You is letting you know, like, it's okay to not want to hate this person that broke your heart. It's okay to not be okay. Like, you're gonna be okay.
Does that sound like something you want?
It is.
Well, let me tell you, you'll never get it.
You know, I really enjoy this track a lot, and I really am happy that it's coming right after We Can't Be Friends. I will say, overall, Eternal Sunshine is so masterfully structured. I enjoy the fact that from top to bottom, the entire album is extremely cohesive. When they're cohesive like that and they make sense, it makes you want to listen to the whole album through and through. When they're not as cohesive and they're not as, you know, making sense, then that's when you can kind of look at it and be like, okay, I can skip the end half of the album, or I can skip the first half of the album because it's not as strong as the other half. And personally for me, and please Swifties, don't beat me up for this, please, 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 I'm a Swiftie. The end half of Folklore after Illicit Affairs, I usually skip.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Don't kill me! No, yeah, end half of Folklore I usually skip. So speaking of cohesiveness, from I Wish I Hated You, the star of the show, second place, We Can't Be Friends. We Can't Be Friends is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. I have not been in a relationship for almost 2 years, And this song makes me feel like I just broke up with my boo thing. It's heartbreaking. I don't know how she was able to do it. She's able to make an upbeat pop song sound so sad, which is something that I always have an issue with when it comes to artists. Either a sad song super, super sad, and that's how I like it. I've never had a upbeat pop song sound so sad that I enjoy. I think the only person that's been able to kind of do that a little bit is Melanie Martinez with K through 12 and with After School and with Portals. She's able to really take these sad, like darker themes and bring them into a more upbeat light, bring them to a more serious tone, while keeping it a little bit more upbeat. Like you could still dance to it and you could still scream it out without wanting to cry. You know what I mean? And I think this is like Ariana's like moment with that type of theme. Like it's a super poppy R&B song. No, I wouldn't even say it's R&B. I think it's just like really poppy, especially when we get to the actual beat breakdown. It sounds super poppy, but I do enjoy it a lot. It's number 2 for a reason. I enjoy it. So I wasn't really expecting it either. I know you guys weren't expecting it either, maybe, but number 1 for me is Eternal Sunshine. Eternal Sunshine on the album is just that song, you know what I mean? You can hear the sadness, you can hear the anger, you can hear the jealousy, you can hear like the almost like it deserves to be the title track of the album. I feel like Ariana Grande always has a really, really good job, you know, presenting the title track as a representation of the album as a whole. Positions was a good example of this. Thank You Next was a good example of this. Literally, she has a really good time. Sweetener, Dangerous Woman. She always very smartly has the title track become a single. And it usually is either the very first single or the very last single. And I personally think that Eternal Sunshine, the title track, is honestly perfection on the album. I would say this is A tier for me. I didn't explain what was B tier and what was A tier. So I would say Ordinary Thing and Perfect For You, Yes and are all B tier. And then I would say that The Boy Is Mine, I Wish I Hated You, We Can Be Friends, and Eternal Sunshine are all A tier. Eternal Sunshine and We Can Be Friends being A++. Like, I personally enjoy those songs the most off the entire album, and I think that they encapsulate the story of the album and what she's trying to convey to her and her following and her fans and the people listening perfectly. It makes me sad, it makes me like angry when I'm singing it. It makes me feel like, again, like I was in a relationship and I just got out of it, and I'm really hoping that you're happy with her because I relate to that. I caught one of my exes cheating on me, okay? And plot twist, I'm a boy in real life. So he cheated on me with a girl and I was completely devastated. And now, like, that song is something that I can relate to because I've been through something like that. And even now that song hits so hard, even though it's been years since then. But overall, Eternal Sunshine, the title track, A++. Love it, love it, love it. All right, you guys, and that is my official ranking of Eternal Sunshine by Ariana Grande. I really hope you guys enjoyed my ranking. If you guys disagree, please sound off in the comments below. If you agree, please sound off in the comments below. I really want us to start interacting, you guys. I really want to see you guys in those comments telling me your rankings. A lot of Mel fans do it, so let's see if the Arianators can do it, huh? And with that being said, if you like that video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. I post once a week, every week here on the main channel, and I post my shorts and my little videos all throughout the entire week. If you want to continue supporting me, I did leave a tipping mechanism, my Venmo, and my Cash App over on the end screen, and you can follow all my social media handles, which are going to be linked down in the description below. So until next time, House DELONGPRE, it's Mimi DELONGPRE, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye!